Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Hopefully you didn't go too far away from your screens because we have another incredible game just moments away. Facing off, it will be DeNova against Playing Ducks. Obviously, I am still joined by Oliver Panda Eggs Maxfield, and we will be going to be having a little bit of a head-to-head between these two in just a moment. But before we get towards that, obviously we do have to hand over to the ever delectable, delightful, ravishingly beautiful Steven, who's waiting in the wings to get you guys a little bit of information of how to get involved with us here in the studio. And so far, there's been some incredible pictures. So well done so far, guys, out there in Twitch chat. I do like it. So let's see what else they've been providing. How's it going out there?
Thank you, sweetheart. You're so nice to me today. Yeah, some great pictures, as you just said. I'm just browsing through the Facebook posts in the break, and we saw some stuff. I was laughing quite hard. There's some good stuff in there. There's some pictures there. You look at the first
The face swap.
The face swap. That was
that
freaked me out. I looked at it. I didn't even notice it at the beginning. I was like, did he just take a screenshot and post it? And then I saw, hang on, Ollie's looking better than he usually does. What's going on there? And then I realised, I recognised the face swap there. So some great artwork in there. There's some where you can actually see things as well. There's just like some things going on with Oliver's hair.
Subtlety is good.
There's some things going on with Oliver's hair. There's some pictures crovering Oliver. So the community knows how to get these pictures done.
It's just nice to me
Oliver.
in general.
That's
yeah,
it. It's the one.
That's the message for today. It seems. Yeah.
But yeah, but besides that, we've got some good stuff going on there. We got just keep these things going on. You have some questions if people can participate from other servers. I can't promise I can get you prizes for it. You still can participate, and you might be even one of the winners. If that's the case, we will contact the other regions, try to get you some gold. But again, this is a European league, so we can't promise to get this stuff, but we'll do our best. Yeah, besides that, our normal votes coming up in a few seconds. Just tell us who's going to win the next game. It will be DeNova against Playing Ducks. I hope I didn't get this one wrong. Should have been.
You are correct.
And yeah, you know, I'm all over it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man.
Nailed it.
Yeah, on top of that, as usual, tweet of the day. Just show us your love, and we might show you some love back. Besides that, talking about love, we're giving it back to my lovely love.
I'm just going to mute him right now. I've muted him right now. It's over. It's over. We'll get Melly back, all right? I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what's happened with him. I can only apologize. That's pretty much it. But let's get back to the tanks, because that's what we're all here for. And let's get back to the incredible game. And that's what you want to be seeing. These two lineups head-to-head, because there are some insanely good players amongst these guys. And please take us through them.
So we got DeNova on the left and Playing Ducks on the right. Last time these two met, Playing Ducks came out 3-2, so they're in favour straight away. But DeNova sitting in third place with 25 points, and Playing Ducks sitting way further down in 7th place with 16 points. So a little bit of a disparity in terms of the places, but honestly, I think these two are pretty close in every other respect. So Captain Ronnie for DeNova, Captain Seish for Playing Ducks. Standout players for DeNova, I'd have to give it to Phoenix, because he has come into this team in Season 2, and he's really been the front man. He's the shot caller. He's the guy who says, okay, take that tank down, get in that position, do this, do that, when all the big plays are being made. Other guys who've come in, we've also got Nick Lemos. He's been in since he got removed in Season 2, but he's come in for Season 3 again. We've got Retin Peace, plays the 5100. Ostat Bender, YR, long-term members altogether. And International, who's joined in for Red Rush 3, but he was now Red Gra, now in DeNova.
They like their red, don't they?
They like
surprisingly for Russia.
Yeah, but Red is was one of the biggest and the most successful clans in Russia, and it produced pretty much every single good player in that server. Well, that's a bit, that's harsh, condescending, but generally all the top players come from that clan. For Playing Ducks, we've got Eluza. He played so well, but he kind of made a big mistake last time we watched these guys last match day. So we'll have to see if he can pick himself back up into this one. So Scarin as well, T69 player, and obviously we've got Arjo. He likes to play that IS3, and he's generally been a top man for their team altogether. So two very good teams on our hands. So I think we're in for a close one. And honestly, if DeNova can just play well and consistently and not go 5-0 down like they did against Evil Panda Squad last match day, I think they have a good chance of winning here. Yeah,
I certainly want to watch that one back, considering the way they've been playing at the moment. DeNova have been literally on par with the likes of WoT Pro with Dignitas. That's why this game is going to be incredible, I assure you. And we are not too far away from those tank picks, so we'll jump to that one in a second. But I want to talk to you about your predictions towards this game as well, because obviously you're a big fan of DeNova. I can imagine your pick will be with them, but do take me through as to why.
I think DeNova has just been, progressing as a team, and they've just got so much better and better, and they've been acquiring, excellent players. We got International, who was, in Red Gras, and he played the artillery for that. Now he's just a really good backbone player. We got Rest in Peace. He came from, he was actually the team leader of New Star, the team that came second in the first season of the WoT Pro League in the Russian season, the Golden League. And obviously just a fantastic all-round team. So they've just picked up players and they've just, integrated them well into their whole lineup. So that's a hard thing to do, there's no question about it.
Yep.
So that's why I think DeNova is a good team. But
I can't help but to agree.
Yeah. Their results speak for themselves. Double T1 from both. As per usual, our first map will be Ruinberg. MX-3090 T69 from both. Last pick from Playing Ducks will be the T69 Pershing. Don't be confused by the WoT of the name. It's because obviously WoT was their previous owner of the team Playing Ducks, so they've just changed hands a little bit here. So double T69 is the last pick from DeNova. T32 actually coming out from Playing Ducks. Oh, that's a bit of a strange
Curious
one.
choice.
Yeah, to say the very least. I mean, IS3 is kind of understandable because it does have that speed and that damage, but the T32 has neither. 320 average damage, speed, not very fast, to be honest. It's pretty slow. About 35 kilometers if you manage to get up onto that top kilometer an hour.
So let's have a little discussion about that T32, because that's a pick we don't see on this map. Where's it going to be placed?
I have no idea. I mean, obviously can't go towards that village, so it looks like Playing Ducks will have to do what we expect them to do, I guess, go towards the city a lot more and just use just the general survivability of that T32 to its greatest, and hopefully find that they found a good position for it. Hull down, obviously, 298 millimeters on the armor of the turret. Last pick from the DeNova side will be the 5100 as well, so they're going for something completely normal. But we can just take you through those lineups now. We've got the Pershing, the double T69, the MX-3090, the T32, and the double T1. So the only really odd pick there being that Tier 8 American heavy tank, the T32. And for the side of DeNova, double T1, T69 times 2, MX-3090, 5100 as well. So just a normal lineup from DeNova.
Yeah, and for me, it's all eyes on that T32 there. See how they're going to bring that one into play, because really curious choice coming out. So I think it's going to be a bit of a proving grounds. Maybe going to change a little bit of the meta here on Ruinberg. We've seen some really, really interesting plays. The strategies coming out on this map have been fantastic. Definitely worth watching back. If you do want to see the other VODs, do go over to the WoTProLeague.com site. Check them out, because every single play day, they are up there. And honestly, the amount of times we've seen the change of the way people focus this map out has been absolutely astonishing. The last game we saw, God, Spale literally drew the Evil Panda Squad into the perfect position to punish them in. And if we see anything close to that today, I will be very happy in 2 games in a row watching Ruinberg just really getting to that brilliant point. And also, I want to see FC Dynamo as well for the side of DeNova, because those guys have been improving so much, and he's been such a standout. But guys, let's get ready for Ruinberg.
Ruinberg is one of our newest city maps, and it's fairly large, being 800 by 800 meters. There are 3 main routes of attack: the roads leading to the city, the road going through the middle, and the village area. Each of these have 2 important areas to control. The city has very large roads and plenty of opportunities for teams to flank. The long roads also provide for good sniping areas as well as corner shooting. Teams often push through the village area, and once controlled, the team can move on to the enemy's base. You should pick heavy tanks with high alpha damage for corner sniping, as well as a faster tank for the middle spot.
So welcome into the first map. It's gonna be Ruinberg. We will be seeing in the north, in that golden yellow, the Playing Ducks with that questionable T32 facing off against the south, filled with the DeNova side looking hungry to get themselves back onto that good position they were in previous to their rather surprising loss. So what are we seeing so far here from these two?
So we're seeing a little bit of an unusual split from the side of DeNova, International and the MX-3090, and the double T1 going towards the city. That's probably trying to get the cross shots. The MX-5100 and the T69 just heading straight up the middle as per usual, trying to do the damage. But International and Siege have found each other out straight away. And the side of Playing Ducks pushing up there towards the middle, trying to get some damage out. They all have a good amount of reload if they can get it down. And obviously with that T32, that's probably what they got it for. They're going to have a big advantage. Phoenix is in trouble.
Yeah, indeed. Phoenix is in dire trouble. He's been focused out immediately. He's going down fairly low. Bad News trying to provide the cover. QQ has to back away. He's on 300 HP. Wusterfish is finally getting into this, but that 1390 of International has found Siege. But look at this Phoenix, 70 HP, but they've taken down QQ. This is not going well for Playing Ducks, even though the advantage was firmly on their side. Somehow, DeNova are working them out. Iceman, down to 44 HP. He's been put to bed by Rest in Peace. And this is a dire start for the WoT side, aka Playing Ducks. They still have that T32. They still got Scarring in there, but is that enough?
We'll have to wait and see. He's still on 7-6-2, so he can still get himself back in. He's going to do good damage against Bad News. He's down to 5-4-2. And that 244 penetration, we'll have to see if it can actually work against the TC9, but they are reloaded and they are pushing in.
Yeah, indeed, they are not holding back at all, but I believe FC Dynamo was tracked there. He's not going to be able to get any further. Wusterfish was trying to cover off Scarring, but there's no chance of it. 3v1. Wusterfish is going down without a fight, though. He's taking down Dynamo. He's got Rest in Peace. He's got Bad News. That clock is ticking as well. It's finally being reset, but that tier 1 has been dropped, so it's a matter of time now for WoT to lose this. Playing Ducks are not looking good now. Bad News and Rest in Peace will deliver that final blow, and Lepo can do nothing here but sit and watch as his team got ripped to shreds by DeNova.
Brilliant little play from DeNova, and I think the best part of it was International soloing Seek. Seek getting a bit unlucky, leaving International on 49 HP. That's just because of the 20% damage changing from the guns. So a little bit unlucky on his team. But anyway, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference since DeNova ended up winning the middle section regardless. You know, but we can have a little bit of a chat about the MX1390 engagement there, because obviously the two T1s went forwards for the side of DeNova along with the MX1390. And honestly, that was really interesting because Playing Ducks almost did exactly the same thing. But because the MX1390 of DeNova actually got a little bit more lucky, he had the 25% more damage or just a better damage roll after his 6 shells. He was the one who came away on top. Both of the MX1390s must have missed or bounced one shot at least, because it wouldn't have made that much of a difference either way. So yeah, generally, DeNova just winning that engagement. That allowed Rest in Peace to do his next strategy, which is pushing towards the cap. So that put the pressure on Playing Ducks there as well. But the T32 in the middle, it couldn't make up for that astounding damage the T69s were doing.
Yeah, indeed. Wusterfish did get 2.1k. Now, that's not bad. But still, the rest of his team did not get above 1k. He was completely locked out of the fight. It wasn't in time, and DeNova just completely dismantling the opposition. So first map firmly in the hands of DeNova. Let's look towards the second, because the tank picks are beginning. And it's going to be Himmelsdorf, which is... It's an interesting one. I feel as though DeNova have a firm advantage here in my eyes, the way they just played that one out. So take us through the picks here. What are we going to see? Well,
you know, Himmelsdorf, I've always given it as DeNova's map, but you know, second in line or even tied for first would be Playing Ducks on this map. So this could be extremely close. And you know, unlike Ruinberg, where it's sometimes a little bit about just who lands the higher damage rolls, Himmelsdorf is not a map like that at all. So I can't give a prediction here. I3 T1 from both teams to start us off with, 5100 T1 as well. So both teams, 2 IS3s, 1 IS3, 1 5100, 1 T1 each, 2 T1s each even. So just getting the normal picks out of the way, we'll only be seeing something unusual heading towards the latter stage of the picks. That T32 being picked by Playing Ducks in the previous match could find its way back into this one on Himmelsdorf, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, 8.9 hasn't been released yet. That is scheduled for Thursday, I do believe. So we'll be playing on 8.9 on our next match day.
That'll be interesting.
So with the IS3 nerfs, we could see that come in. But the question is, how have these teams prepared for 8.9? Because obviously,
it's got to be kept in mind. Surely they have been.
Surely I've seen them on the test server. We just have to wait and see, because that tier 8 tank destroyer can do a hell of a lot of damage. 850 average with 11 seconds reload, I think, or 750, 850, 750, and honestly, if you can use that perfectly on Himmelsdorf, it's obviously a massive glass cannon to say the very least, because the T1 can penetrate from the front. It can really start turning games around, and it might spice the lineups a little bit here on this map, which we desperately need. 5100 T1 for Playing Ducks, IS3 5100 for DeNova, and the 5100 and the T1 coming out for DeNova as well. IS3 5100 will be the second to last pick from Playing Ducks. So just back and forwards with the 5100s and the IS3. We only get to really know anything unusual, or just that switch between the extra IS3 or the 5100, which DeNova is going for the extra 5100 here, while Playing Ducks are going to go for that extra tier 8 Russian heavy tank, the IS3 that is, of course. So For the side of DeNova, we've got a triple 5100, a double IS3, double T1. We do expect that. DeNova love their 3 5100s, while Playing Ducks have gone for the triple I, double 5100, double T1.
So guys, let's get you lined up for that video to welcome you guys towards Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf is the city maps of city maps. It's a small one, being 600 by 600 meters. There are 3 routes of attack: the hill, the banana, and the train side. The middle area is relatively easy to push, however can end up in disaster as you can be flanked from every side. The road, often called banana, allows for direct head-on assaults but requires a lot of resources. Both the railroad area and the road next to it are good routes of attack, being very open and straight. However, for those very same reasons, you can be easily caught out and taken down. The map features many densely housed areas, which provides good places for engagements and routes of attack. Teams must be aware of the various routes their opponents can take through the map, as well as the hull-down positions enemies can take throughout the entire map. The trick with Himmelsdorf is to catch an enemy tank unsupported by his teammates and then use that advantage to collapse on the entire enemy team.
So welcome into the second map. As Joe said, it's going to be Himmelsdorf, and we're seeing an interesting start coming out here. What can you tell me about this one so far?
Well, it looks like these two are just going to clash on straight away. DeNova heading towards the 1-2-3 line. International pushing up further forwards. Bad news as well. I think DeNova kind of caught a little bit on the rotate there, because you would have expected the IS3 just to push down the middle instead of kind of taking the risk of getting shot out there. But both teams now with a clear indication of where the other one is. They know exactly what the other one's going to do, and they both had almost the same idea. Obviously, DeNova have all 5 of their tier 8 heavy tanks over towards that 1-2-3 line, while Playing Ducks have one IS3 looking up that 8 line. So a little bit of a strange start from these two teams. Obviously, DeNova with one map in the bag, that will be Ruinberg. They have the momentum going forwards. Will they be able to keep it?
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious as to what's going on here, because as you can see, it's not even an IS-3 that's watching the banana line. It's Siege and a 5100.
Oh, it's a 5100, really?
Really curious positioning coming out from these guys. I think that initial scare just sent them scattering and didn't go for the all-in. So it's QQ, Wu, all keeping eyes down that 3 line. But now we're going back to a more normal start, let's just say. But the amount of spots coming out from these guys is impressive. They're really being worked out here. Scarin already receiving a big shell, and he's down to 1-1-0-2. Let's play a little bit more carefully now, because you do not want to give DeNova any more advantages, because Bad News is certainly not going to miss a shell like that.
No, he's not going to. He's such a fantastic sniper. Bad news for anyone he managed to hit that shell. And the T1 is going to try and get itself on the hill a little bit. That's going to be a good thing for Playing Ducks, because Rest in Peace and YR are a little bit late to the party. So he'll be able to spot them out, give Playing Ducks a little bit of an edge in terms of information. Obviously, they are down on HP right now. 1-1-0-2 left on Scarin, 1-1-2-9 left on Wustenfusch. If I do pronounce that name right, I think I do. But it looks like Iceman, he's got himself a glimpse onto the 5100, the IS3 in the middle, obviously. No shells connected. That's why I think the T32 could perhaps be a little bit better in this situation, because you don't have to turn around to get that shot off. But it's 7 minutes and 38 seconds into this game. We've already had so many positional changes. You know, DeNova on that 1-2-3 line, now really towards that 7-8-9 line, 0 line as well. And the same goes for Playing Ducks. Lepo goes down to Rest in Peace. So advantage squarely in the hands of DeNova.
Yeah, and Wustenfusch is now in trouble as well. He's receiving another shell. He's down to 7-9, and I want to see the counter push coming out from the Playing Ducks, because, well, they got worked out. That hill is now in the hands of the opposition. They're going to try and use the time in between to get a push going on. Iceman leading that charge in that IS-3. Scarin not too far behind. Wu is just going around on the flank, and they're going to be trying to kind of get down Bad News, but he's going to back away smartly, and they're going to get at least a good bit of ground behind them, but still, no easy shots to be made. The HP disadvantage and player disadvantage is on their side. Bad News trying to get a little bit of a cheeky shot through the scattered and rather destructed buildings, but it's Scarin to land it first towards him. He's now down to 1-1-0-4. We're seeing a good bit of play from long range coming in from the Playing Duck side.
So we got what we'd expect after the first, 30 seconds, that push with the IS-3s up that 8 line. But instead, we're 3 minutes into the game and we've got it. So a little bit of an interesting tactic for Playing Duck. Scarin getting heavily punished, 285 left on him.
Yeah, International and Bad News just bouncing between them, and Scarin's going to have to back away to more of a safe position because he's down fairly low. Iceman picking up the mantle, being almost the spearhead of this one. He might have a bit of trouble, though. It does seem as though Rest in Peace and a couple of other members are starting to make a bit of a push here.
They're going to try and come round and maybe find themselves a good angle onto Playing Ducks. But, you know, Playing Ducks also on the rotate, constantly trying to find their way in. They've got the 2 tanks heading up into the middle. They're going to be joining them. And remember, you know, Spale tried to Evil Panda Squad tried to do this against Spale, and it simply didn't work. Spale fended them off very nicely. Well, towards the beginning, and then, you know, Evil Panda Squad obviously got themselves back into that to win Himmelsdorf. But Phoenix is going to come round on the side with the 5100.
Yeah, but look at QQ. He's going straight towards him in his 5100. The first IS-3 was lost. It was Scar in the play who got so low. QQ is keeping eyes on everyone he can right now to allow the rest of his teammates a little bit of information to come seeping through. International has received a shell from Iceman, who went on the flank there. Wu is now joining in. Iceman's looking for more, though. He's going to keep pushing. QQ splitting off as well with Siege towards that left side of the building. He's got a shell coming towards him from Phoenix. It's not really going their way. They're looking for that one opening, and it might come in the form of Iceman making his way around. Wusterfish has been found out, though. The split is now coming into effect. Iceman needs to back away. He's got 2 tanks staring him down. QQ just being focused down towards Siege. There's that kill coming in. That's Iceman eliminated. Playing Ducks are being ripped to shreds. It's not going well. Rest in Peace goes low, but they can't find the targets they want. Siege has just received another shell. Oh my word, FC Dynamo just obliterated them in one move. Bad News joins in as just one tier 1 stands in a 1v entirety almost. Only YR was lost there for DeNova. This is impressive play at its finest. Every single member of that team stepping up when it matters, doing the work they needed. And I've got to give it credit again. FC Dynamo, I'm loving him in this lineup. Bad News doing well as per usual, but wow, lovely, lovely stuff.
A really good play from that ex-Red Rush 3 player, I do believe. He might also be Red Grass, so yeah, again, you know, a really solid lineup. And to be honest, Playing Ducks thoroughly outplayed in this one, to say the very least. They just got outmaneuvered, they got outdamaged, and the fact that every single player on DeNova is on low HP is a testament to their general team play.
The thing that I loved, it was never in a disadvantageous position for them. They always kept it in a 2v1 in their favor. They never allowed the Playing Ducks side to get the advantage at all.
Yeah.
No matter who it was in, no matter who was challenging, you know, Iceman pushed up on the flank, QQ and Siege were coming around the left. Every single time they positioned themselves perfectly to keep that advantage. And now it's a matter of time. They are trying to take down the church in victory. DeNova have picked up another map here. They are looking stupidly strong right now. These individual moments when they can focus out the correct players, that bit of kind of in-game leadership is just a testament to how good they are at the moment, because there was a real threat coming in from Playing Ducks then, but the way they always held that 2v1 advantage no matter what the situation just really shone to me. I love that.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, they always had a backup plan. I think that's what we can really come out with this. You know, that 5100 in the background was always there just to provide support from every single angle that that Playing Ducks could come from. And I think, you know, maybe a little bit of a short-sighted move heading up that banana road with the IS-3, especially considering they had lost already 300 HP apiece.
Correct.
But still, I think they could have done it better. They could have certainly, you know, waited that one out a little bit more. DeNova had a good contingency plan for that tactic. Obviously, a tactic a lot of teams have started to use a lot. You know, it's really becoming one of the mainstays tactics for Himmelsdorf.
It's slightly surprising as well.
You know, yeah. I mean, we did see it a long time ago before the map was changed. Teams just heading up that 8 line at the beginning. Every Red Rush Unity was the team to really pioneer that, and it worked fantastically. But now, I reckon it's about 30% win ratio with that one. So I think from the south, teams just need to find the meta of that one. You know, even if you're gonna play a team like DeNova who are so experienced and have that real, you know, class in their team, try something new. You know, try for even something cheesy like sending all your tanks over the hill or just pick 3 5100 and send them all over the hill and go for the cap or something.
See, I feel as though Playing Ducks almost tried that when they went initially down towards the railroad side, but they got met by the counter going from DeNova as well, so there's no way through. They didn't have that backup plan that DeNova always do have. So let's keep that in mind, because we will be starting those tank picks towards the next map, I do believe. Even though it still says Himmelsdorf, I don't think they changed the map, but they are still picking away there. So let's keep that in mind before they do change over to the next one. But Himmelsdorf really was just a kind of note towards DeNova in my eyes. So they are now very close to the likes of Verspro and Dignitas, who always have that backup plan and they always execute well. So I'm trying to think of what the next map is here, because they haven't switched it yet. Yeah, they are fully into picks. And I'm curious to see what's coming out, because the 416 has been picked, and a Pershing, maybe Steps we're going to be seeing. It's been a bit of a mainstay now, not too sure. I'm looking to see that change, and I'm going to go for Steps. What are you going to say quickly?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Steps.
Yeah, it's going to be Steps. It's got to be, right? Come on. But still, yeah, I think this is the fact where we're seeing DeNova getting into their still.
Oh, Prokhorovka even. Steps or Prokhorovka, either way.
Okay, all right. We don't have the knowledge we hoped for. It's a very similar looking map.
Yeah, it's open. It's got the same kind of lineups. I'll give you that one.
But still, take us through the pick so far, because that's now been kind of changed over. But yeah, that last map, it's just showing that DeNova are getting to that strength point.
Yeah, so we got the double T1 from Playing Ducks, T1 AMX 3090 from DeNova, AMX 3090 T69 for Playing Ducks. So just back and forth with the standard picks, obviously, being Prokhorovka, we're probably not going to see quite as many 416s as we would see on steps. T69 T1's the next pick from DeNova. AMX 3090 T69 for Playing Ducks. And DeNova going to go for the 416, so that Russian tier 8 medium tank coming out. AMX 3090 for DeNova as well. Last pick from Playing Ducks, Pershing. Last pick from DeNova, Pershing as well. So for the side of Playing Ducks, we got the double T69, double AMX 3090, Pershing double T1. So quite a strong lineup altogether. Got all the bases covered there. Well, DeNova have gone for the Pershing, the 416, the double AMX 3090, T69 double T1. And honestly, with DeNova's track record of picking a little bit strange lineups that never seem to really work, this could be dangerous.
It could be indeed. So let's get an idea of how we might normally see Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, a large map at 1,000 by 1,000 meters which allows teams to stretch their legs and artillery to test their skills. There are 3 primary routes of attack: over the left tree road, the middle area and towards the town. The tree road is very open and flat but has a very large number of bushes and trees that provide good cover if you're not shooting. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. Both teams are fairly symmetrical and only offer small hills and brushes as cover. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. The railroad that splits the map has a large number of bushes running alongside it that provides good cover and the occasional route of attack in the village and hill area. Teams should look towards taking fast tanks and artillery as they complement each other on this expansive map.
So welcome into the third and possibly defining map here, because if DeNova pick this one up, they will get the 3 maps they need to take them into the advantage. So Playing Ducks starting in the north in the gold and yellow, DeNova with it all to do in the south in the blue. So what are we seeing so far?
DeNova going for a slightly Odin Mortage-esque tactic here, sending quite a lot of their firepower over towards the left side. The MX 3090, the 416 really taking that strategy up, that position up. Seek getting punished immediately. He's down to 862. That was coming out from a shot, I believe, from bad news in his Pershing to 40 average damage. But you're also trying to respond. Playing Ducks, obviously, as you can see, playing mostly towards the left side or the right side from their position, with a couple of MX 3090s sitting up in the bushes in the hills. They've got a good position, but the thing is, even with the 40, 50, 60% camo a bush does provide, once you fire, every single bit of camo within 15 meters is negated and removed. That could be dangerous when you're sitting quite peachy on a hill.
Yep, and we are seeing the tier 1s being ripped away from Playing Ducks there, and the HP really not looking good for them either. Iceman did receive a shell, as did Siege, as you saw early on in that initial exchange. But now I feel as though DeNova you don't want to give them any more advantages. They're just so good at using that against you. Iceman in that, I believe it's the Pershing there, sorry, excuse me, and Scar in that T69, joined by QQ, just trying to tease out a little bit of a peek here, but nothing really coming from it.
I have to see what DeNova can come up with here, because I think they've got some sort of strategy under their belts. We got Rest in Peace already on the move, speeding along with his AMX 3090, probably hitting about 70 kilometers an hour across straight ground, level ground, obviously. He's going to go over towards the Ron, so DeNova know that there's not really that many tanks over towards that side, so he doesn't have to worry about getting caught out. As you can see on the minimap, there is indeed nothing from Playing Ducks over here. So Ron's going to be relocating as well. I think Rest in Peace is going to aiming for this position. That's going to kind of catch Playing Ducks in this place here. And the thing is, they'll have to reverse, which means they can't get the damage onto there. So it's going to be a very tricky situation for them to get out.
Do you know what? If Ron wasn't spotted, then I think you might be correct. But now he's been worked out. I want to see what sort of movement happens from Playing Ducks with that in mind, because surely you'd adapt. If you've seen one player already splitting across, surely you'd want to play safe here, but they're staying in the exact same spots.
Yeah, I think Rest in Peace is also cottoned onto that fact that maybe he can't do that move because he has decided just to stay in the middle. Indeed, you know, you've got to consider exactly what DeNova have in terms of advantages. So Playing Ducks completely centered over towards here, but DeNova have this section as well, where Playing Ducks don't have this section. So anything that Playing Ducks does here, they can't do over here. Well, DeNova can. So they can come around, they can use this deflate, they can use this deflate. They can get the shots on from the side and behind. They have everything in their hands. They've also got the HP advantage. Iceman's down to 863. Seeker's also taken one to the face. That was in the first seconds of the game. He's down to 862. So, you know, once FC Dynamo gets a reload on that T69, we could see game on.
Yeah, we certainly could. And he's been such a dominating player recently. I've really loved his addition to this team, or at least seeing him in consistent play, because Playing Ducks not really taking any difference here. They're still looking for that exchange to go down that 2 and 3 line. Currently, Iceman has been receiving shell after shell in that Pershing there. It's not really what we like to see, because normally, you know, he's been quite a good player at the moment, but still not really going off the way he wants. And Lepo could be able to spot someone out. Hicks, we are seeing people starting to move towards their cap point, but it is only one tier 1, just testing the waters, leading the way. And it could spell a little bit of trouble for Playing Ducks. Might put them out of a little bit of kilt.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 6 minutes left at the end of the day. It's plenty of time for both teams to get into this one. We've certainly seen Playing Ducks get themselves out of more tricky situations than this, so it's certainly not out of their hands at this point in time. And it's just about who makes that first move. We got the T1 there in A5. He's pretty much in the position where you would expect if DeNova pushed up here. So he's in a great position, actually. He spotted out both International, who does actually take him down. The view range of the MX-1390 come into effect, but he gets punished immediately. Great shot from Playing Ducks. He's down to 858. So he's got to be a little bit careful. Kind of HP being nickeled back here by Playing Ducks. We got International down 1 as well. We have Phoenix. He's got taken down as well. So 1,200 HP down to 981 now. So, you know, they're certainly doing well. They're kind of, you know, keeping the pestering on, keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, you say that, but I feel as though they're losing so much ground on this map, because now you can see it on the minimap there. They're literally surrounded. They don't have an escape route at all, unless they want to take down International pretty soon, which I feel as though Siege is working towards. He's been edging closer and trying to get his eyes trained down towards that, just in case you see, I believe it was International, sorry, excuse me, appearing over that horizon. Wu is now joining him back, avoiding the fire coming in at this moment, but still, it feels as though they're losing so much ground and so much confidence at the moment.
Yeah, but, you know, we're talking about contingency when it comes down to DeNova, and Rest in Peace is there exactly to deal what they're doing now, pushing across the middle. It's going to be a push. Yeah,
indeed. Siege and Wu are going to be trying to make their way towards International to catch him out. They're just about avoiding the shells. They're coming in and counter towards them. We are seeing the pushing now from the other side as well. They're splitting the attention. The 1390s challenging down, but look at this. FC Dynamo moving in, as is bad news. The fire is coming in thick and fast towards the Playing Ducks side. They're getting hammered down. Look at their HP in the top right. It's not looking good. And FC Dynamo not happy with what he's done so far. He wants more, as does Bad News. The fire continues. They've taken down Playing Ducks solo, scarring down to minus 100 HP. He's down to 75. He's got to try and get his way out of this somehow. But look who's appeared on the horizon. It's Phoenix up in here now. He's got the shot towards QQ, who's still staying out in the open. Doesn't get the connection he wanted. Rest in Peace coming through. Nice shot coming in from QQ. Wu finally takes down Ron as well. That's eliminated some of the vision, but they're so weak at the moment. Scarring could be taken down so easily. Now Rest in Peace in the lineup. This is trouble. Wu trying to still do work, but Rest in Peace comes into the action. That's what we needed to see finally coming out. But Iceman's in a 1v3. Not going to get out of that one alive, as just Wu stands. And this is not going to go his way. He's got 3 incredible players now against him. He's got Bad News to deal with. He's got Phoenix now eyeing him up, and Rest in Peace as well. He's not going to stay alive for long. Surely not.
Surely not, but he's done well, to be fair to him. Wustenfush did take down International, who came around with 498 HP. I was trying to get onto that one. Sorry about the bad camera work. But good play from DeNova altogether. They knew exactly what to do when it was done at that exact second. So the MX-1390s came around. They had International and Rest in Peace from those AMX-1390s. International was a little bit too far gone. He did have to retreat, so he was a little bit useful. But Rest in Peace, he was sitting in the middle. He could both help the MX-1390, International.
Yep.
You know, take those 2 MX-1390s that pushed around, but also what you could do is, you know, push back towards where his T69s were, really help them out with that gun, the F3. And at the end of the day, that just ability just to switch from one side of the map to the other, get into all sorts of situations, really pester the other team is what wins it for DeNova on Prokhorovka.
Yeah, and I actually really like the 416 play there. Hit 1.6k damage. It was just enough kind of to set up Bad News to really claim those kills, picking up 3 in that Pershing. So DeNova picking up 3 maps straight there. That will hand them the victory. Obviously, the last 2 maps will still be played out because obviously towards the end of the season, it may come down to these results. Whoever had the closer one will end up getting it, etc., etc. I don't need to explain it to you too many times. But yeah, you did give credit to Wu then, and I kind of agree with you on that. Picking up 2 kills in that situation was vital, because otherwise the DeNova side could have collapsed in so much easier towards those 3 players who are just kind of going blow for blow back towards that more normal section. But yeah, great map overall. I think I don't think Playing Ducks can be upset with that one, because they did deal with it quite well. But DeNova are just so strong at the moment. It's very hard to say that they're going to be beaten on any map when they're executing that well. But it's the first time they didn't have that completely engulfing strategy, I feel. It wasn't the first time that I've seen them see like shaky, but for a long time at the moment. It's not been a recent thing where I've not seen them just eliminate someone instantly. But still, I think that's more credit to Playing Ducks for holding on then quite nicely. Wu did his job, so they can't be too upset. But Ensk will be up next. And, well, I'm not sure on that one. Looking at Himmelsdorf, it was beautifully handled by DeNova. And if they can kind of focus out the damaging roles like they did previously, I think this is going to be another one for DeNova to pick up. But still, you think there's a chance?
Yeah, DeNova have been always a very good team on Ensk, but you know, Playing Ducks always been a very good team on City Map, so that kind of cancels each other out. It's just going to be about which team can really pick it up on this one. And you know, we can really look why DeNova has been winning the last 3 maps. They haven't really done anything spectacular. All they've seemed to have done, they've obviously studied Playing Ducks a lot. They've really been watching the replays, really getting the knowledge of that team down. Yeah. And that's what's won it for them, because every single move they've done has been to counter Playing Ducks. It's not particularly because they've been playing better. I mean, that is obviously considered a big factor as well. You know, let's take on Prokhorovka, the MX-3090 backing up International. That was perfect counter towards really what Playing Ducks were doing. Do
you know what I like? The fact that DeNova are in 3rd and they're anti-stratting people in 7th position because they do not underestimate their opponents.
But it's really good. I mean, you don't want to be giving away easy wins. I mean,
of course,
5-0 to Evil Planet Squad, that's not a thing they would have expected, to be honest. And that's probably because of Evil Planet Squad's experience. They knew that they would be anti-strategy, and they knew exactly how to counter that by just probably throwing everything in and just going for something a little bit strange. So T1 AMX 5100 for DeNova. It's going to come out from Playing Ducks as well. IS3 5100 for DeNova. T1 IS3 for Playing Ducks and as well for DeNova. So just the normal picks, the French Tier 8 Heavy Tank and the Russian Tier 8 Heavy Tank, the IS3 and the 5100. Obviously mainstays on city maps in general. You want to have a combination of that burst damage from the SA-47 and the BL9's pure, utter uber damage, the 390 damage it can pump out in 11 seconds. So it's going to be the standard stuff, I believe. We're not going to see anything too unusual. Obviously, the 5100 and the IS3 is what we'd expect, because the T69 is not really picked on this map as much as anymore. IS3 5100 is going to be the second to last pick for Playing Ducks. 5100 for DeNova. So just back and forth with those two, just looking for that last pick from Playing Ducks.
Yeah, so what do you think we're going to go for here? Oh, it's already been called, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah. It's what we'd expect from DeNova, to be honest. It's the Chinese Tier 8 Heavy Tank, the 110 indeed. So I guess it could be a good pick. Obviously, got a lot of frontal armor, but the damage is a little bit lower. Just depends on which gun you use. We'll have to see how they can use that. We'll have to see if the 5100 or the IS3 end up bouncing that from the front, because if it doesn't, then it's useless.
So let's find out here on Ensk.
Ensk is a simple map on the face of it, but requires the most skillful team play to play properly. Being such a small map at 600 by 600 meters, the areas of attack are confined to through the city, through the railroads, or through the green zone. The fearsome city side, often famed for its fierce firefights, the railroads and green zone areas are hard to play as they have many death alleys. The railroads provide little cover but good sniping locations. Tanks can shoot over and navigate through the trains to ambush and weaken the opposition. When playing Ensk, always keep in mind that teams may try and rush for the cap and not go for the city brawl. Also, take tanks that can both deal a lot of damage and react quickly to situations.
So, welcome to Ensk in the south in the gold and yellow. It will be the Playing Ducks who currently, well, they haven't been able to pick up a map yet, but maybe things are going to change. DeNova will be in the north in the blue, going for that usual start, but this is a bit aggressive from them as well. Yeah,
DeNova just pushing straight up, not going for any of that sneaky green zone tactics, not wanting to mess about. Probably want to increase their general city map performance in general. That's because, you know, if you're gonna increase it, they might as well do it live when you're playing another Pro League team. DeNova, though, as we would expect, playing Ducks, what we have seen from a lot of other teams, that's heading over towards the green zone with the T1 first, 5100s in hot pursuit, and obviously the IS3 is there to back them up. So kind of a strange start from both teams. You know, in the previous matchup, we saw both going towards the green zone, and other games we see both going towards the city. It doesn't usually split up like this. But I think DeNova have cottoned on to that fact that probably playing Ducks are going to be doing that tactic as they've kind of gone on the rotate a little bit. We got Phoenix heading back. He's going to be just looking up the one line. And obviously we got the T1 of YR just heading up to A0 to try and get as many spots out as he can. There's a couple of good pushes up there. It's also higher ground. So I think, honestly, playing Ducks are in a little bit more trouble, but it's pretty even.
Yeah, indeed. It all comes down to those exchanges, which shells connect, which don't, and obviously the information they gather. We saw these guys working this one last time, and it didn't actually work out too badly for them. It was a nice bit of adaptation. I don't think they won it in the end, if I recall correctly. I will go back to my stats on that one, because they were the team that we first saw really going for this kind of green zone, at least recently. It's not been something that a lot of teams have been trying. But what sort of advantages are there for running that green zone play?
Well, I guess you can just, I guess there's not really any advantages to it. I mean, it's just another tactic where you can kind of catch the other team out. And I mean, you know, Joe said it in the introduction video that you can go for the city brawl, or you can go for the middle spot and go for the rush. That's what the green zone does. You can head from one side of the map, from K0 down to A0 in a matter of seconds, and really just catch the other team by surprise. FC Dynamo does take down Lepo, but that'll be one shot out of that autoloader's barrel, so he'll be down to 5. So he's got to be a little bit more careful if playing Ducks do decide to push, which they seem to have done. They've got the IS3 going up very heavily. That's going to be Iceman. And you've got a couple of tanks in them behind. That's going to be the 5100s. They're going to be there just up to provide that real damage, that real firepower, if they so can. We can actually see something very interesting coming out. YR, his house is actually getting pummeled down. He'll probably have to escape there very quickly, otherwise he will get spotted out. But he does so just about in time. Get himself out of a tricky situation. Obviously, playing Ducks have lost one T1, and DeNova don't want that as well.
Yeah, indeed. It's an interesting adaptation coming out as well. I like that little bit of a play to kind of eliminate the building there. It was coming out from QQ. Siege will now kind of pick up the mantle to cover him off, but still, it's an interesting play. They clearly have their stuff worked out here for the green zone play. They used it against Spale in Matchday 14, so you do go and check that one out if you do like this and you want to incorporate it yourselves, but I'm still waiting to see where they're really going to take this, because finally that tier 1 has been spotted out. That's YR there. Siege knows where he is, but what can he do about it? It's more QQ trying to adjust around, maybe blow some more houses down, but still. Skarin holding the back, joined by Wu, the rest pushed up. 3v2 split pretty much. Is that enough of a presence to play defensively right now?
You know, Ensk is always a little bit of a tricky map to play defensively, because it's not that hard to get into the bases. All you have to do is just destroy a couple of houses and a couple of walls, which most of the teams do at the beginning anyway. So if you're going to get in the cap from the north, there's a couple of positions which you can do, but you train for this. You know, you train for teams that just go for the cap race, and you get tanks in the right position to deal with it. And with 6 minutes and 5 seconds left on the clock, I think if playing Ducks were to go for the cap race, it should be more towards that, 1.5, 2 minutes section, as opposed to 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to go. And all the advantages are towards DeNova. Both T1s are out for playing Ducks. That's going to be all the kind of capping pressure, all the split push pressure from those T1s. Also the informational pressure out and alleviated. And we'll have to see what DeNova can do to react to that. They've only got one tank defending the base, but most of their presence is up into the enemy's base. They're putting some pressure on. International does connect the first shell, as does Wussenfush, but no damage coming out. That's the mouse trick coming out from both these two, or the side scraping trick, depends which one you call it. But to be honest, I don't see which team really has the advantage that much. Playing Ducks obviously knew with their T1 positions that they would end up losing them either way, so the T1's obviously not instrumental to their tactic. So it has to be something to do with the heavy tanks, and it may just be a defensive tactic. If they can win the firefight that happens when, DeNova push into their base, if they can get the better position, they can get the more damage down and defend their tanks, then they're going to be in a good position to push forwards and take the first win.
Yeah, let's see how this one plays off here. As you said, Scarin now actually has received damage. He's down to 933. He's got to be careful. He did get tracked there. That side of that Chinese 110, not quite receiving the shells like he'd imagined. But DeNova are making their push now. Wu is the one to receive the actual brunt of this. Phoenix pushing forward. Oh, he's got the perfect shot onto Scarin. He's going down. Oh, my word. Lovely play from DeNova. Wu could do nothing about it. He's trying to adjust, but QQ's come around on the flank. Nice play from him. Really instinctive stuff. He's going to take down Phoenix, and that's really called bad news in a bit of a pickle now, because QQ doing the same between him and Wu, but he's got further fire coming in from the back. The likes of Siege still laying down the connections. Bad news down to 577, make it 286. He's now in real trouble, but rest in peace, trying to help him out, but it's too little too late. That 5100 in the hands of QQ slams him down, and now rest in peace is the target of focus. The cap is still ticking. Let's keep that in mind. Wustenfish trying to back off, but here comes that crossfire going to play from Ron, from SC Dynamo, from International, and that clock is the biggest enemy right now. Iceman has found rest in peace, and the clock has yet to be reset.
We got like 2 seconds left to go. It's going to be an absolute cracker for DeNova, taking the cap spectacularly. Those are the two T1s I was talking about. You want to be having those two T1s always there. You have them behind the 5100, which is pretty much a barn door protecting your two. They cap regardless. It doesn't matter if it's a T1, it doesn't matter if it's a mouse. They cap at the same speed, and it's going to be an absolute cracker for DeNova. Really, just they didn't win the firefight so much.
No, they didn't. They lost that hands down.
Yeah.
They really did. The 2v1 play that we saw working so well on Himmelsdorf in the in this game alone was theirs to show how talented they were. This time around, that wasn't the case, but they had that backup plan. The backup plan that we often see the likes of WoT Pro, Dignitas running wherever it be. Okay, let's focus on the cap now. We've lost this situation, and they ran with it. Even though they lost those exchanges, that's so incredible.
Yeah, they anti-stratted them at the end of the day. You know, they took out the T1s of DeNova, and then what they could do is basically say, okay, they don't have two T1s, so let's come up with a tactic which involves our two T1s. Obviously, that's going to be a perfect counter. So let's cap, let's put tanks in there. We don't have to win the firefight because we know they don't have T1s to put in our cap, so they can't put the pressure on. So they have to have all their tanks back to provide that firepower. Obviously, that's not going to work out against DeNova, and they're going to take another win. Taking it to 4-0, we'll be moving on to our next map. It'll be another open one. It'll be steps, so a nice little bit of variety coming up. Yeah,
really nice seeing these guys across a bit of a spread here, because we've seen some beautiful work on every single map, whether it be a tactical choice or it be individual performance. It's really, really impressive. And the one thing that really stands out to me is the fact that, even though the likes of Playing Ducks were really on point with their, their 1v1 exchanges, their actual aim, it's that team cohesion that they just didn't quite have on the same level as DeNova, and it's that really nice back and forth. So they are ready for the tank picks. Let's get towards that here as they have started them going. But what do you think we're going to see here on steps?
Well, we're going to see the 416 undoubtedly in the Pershing as well. Maybe even a T32 from Playing Ducks. They did take it on Ruinberg.
Yeah.
So it could be picked up. Double T1, though, from Playing Ducks to start us off with. T1 AMX 1390 from DeNova as we just slowly get into this tank picking for the last map. DeNova now 4-0 up. Quite a little scoreline. We've had Ruinberg, Ensk, Himmelsdorf, and Prokhorovka all taken pretty one-sidedly, apart from Ensk, really, by DeNova. AMX 1390 T69 for Playing Ducks is their next pick. They have to get some pride back here. Obviously, if Playing Ducks do end up losing this, it would kind of even the scorelines. They did beat DeNova back in match days. In the early match days, they took it 3-2. So, pride's sake, but if you've already won one match day against them, 50-50 win ratio is all you really need. But the MX 1390 T69 for Playing Ducks, Pershing 416 for DeNova. Last pick from Playing Ducks will be the Pershing. Last pick from DeNova will be the 416. So I think it's a mirrored lineup.
Well, let's hope that 416 or the double 416 play
double
goes
416
better,
for DeNova.
Last time we saw that coming out, it really wasn't the best of displays. Maybe we can see a little bit more in action this time. It got a little bit rushed when we saw it with Evil Panda Squad and Spale, but maybe we can see what it's really intended for here with almost a very similar lineup. It's almost the exact same one as what was run previously. So I'm looking forward to seeing the difference here. Obviously, DeNova sitting in third place can really give us a good idea as to how that can come into effect. And what sort of play do you think we're going to see? Is this going to be the more careful sniping play coming into effect now that should have happened for Evil Panda Squad?
Yeah, I think DeNova are just going to be playing very dynamically, looking over towards the right side at the beginning with the 416s like Evil Panda Squad did, but they're not pushing crazily like
that. Yeah, they wouldn't challenge a T69 9 and then forget the 1390s are still in play like we saw before. That was something that you never see come out from DeNova, that kind of lackluster play. These guys are so focused at the moment and really sitting at 4-0 right now against Playing Ducks, who've been really stepping up their game individually. We see it time and time again as players, they're absolutely on par, but as a team, that's where you see the differences coming into effect. And what do you think we're going to see from these guys here? Do you think they can pick this one up?
They have to play very tentatively, and they have to make sure that they catch DeNova on the rotate, because that's how they're going to win.
Yep.
Catch them in the middle of their act, catch them and make their dynamicism, if that's a word.
We're making it one.
Yeah, okay. Catch them in the middle, and then honestly, find one tank like an AMX 1390 or a 416, take him out, tier 8 point advantage, damage advantage, HP advantage, and just go for the win.
Well, we can only find out in a moment once these guys are both ready for that final map here. And I want to see Playing Ducks do well, but right now Steps might not be their map. But let's get to that video anyway to welcome you towards it.
Steps is the other open map in the map pool, being 1000 by 1000, having no urban areas. There are 3 primary routes of attack: the trench, the rocky area to the left, and the middle road. The road offers direct routes to the enemy's base, but despite having a staggering amount of cover along the way, you are vulnerable to attack from all sides. The trench area provides for great engagements as it's only a few hills and rocks to cover the teams. Most of the engagements occur around this rock, the winner of which gains a crucial foothold on the map. The rocky left area provides the most cover for attacking and defending teams. It's essential that you pick tanks that can traverse from one side of the map to the other rapidly. They also must be able to get to the various key locations as quickly as possible. That is the key to victory.
So, welcome to the final map here. It will be Steps, as Joe kindly told us. And in the north, in the gold and yellow, it's Playing Ducks currently with a bit of a task on their hands to challenge DeNova, who've been so on point this game. What are we seeing so far?
So we're seeing the same start as the Evil Panel Squad did from DeNova, sending the 2 416s over to the right and just spreading their tanks generally out towards the middle, ready to defend out. We've got Playing Ducks doing the standard tactic, unlike Spale. They've really sent all their tanks over towards the trench side, and so far, so good. Rest in Peace has taken one. He's down to 8-6-7, 8-4-7 even, but Seek's also been punished. He's down to 7-5-3, and a lot of shots coming out from those T69s. All 2 of them are reloading, probably also looking for the T1s, try and get that T1 advantage, unlike Ensk, where they lost it almost immediately, and almost unnecessarily, some would say. But a standard start from both. Both have lost a little bit of HP here and there. Neither really has the advantage. It's just a different, unique style of the 2 teams coming out. And we have to wait and see, because honestly, it's going to be about that informational game. How can we find a way into the enemy's team? Honestly, I think DeNova are going to start moving their tanks a lot. We've obviously got Phoenix and Dynamo, and there's two object 217s coming in, and going to come around the back and really try and come from a different angle using that speed. They're obviously pretty quick. Two of them as well provide plenty of damage if it does get down to that situation where they're caught out a little bit. But International's also going to be joining in that party, so 3 very quick tanks. That's that dynamicism coming into effect, if I can pronounce it properly.
I don't think it's a real word to pronounce properly, so you can say it however you want. You can make it up as you go along.
Fair enough. Well, Wyald's also going to be joining that party as well. He's coming with a T1. The only thing really left in the base is going to be Bad News. And Rest in Peace. He's sitting up really in the mountains, and Bad News sitting up towards those rocks. So if Playing Ducks do push in now, they're going to catch DeNova on the rotate, and this is exactly what they need to do to take the win.
Well, they're pushing up at least those 1390s and the tier 1s, making their way down that 0 line. They've left the main firepower towards the rear. Scar and Iceman and QQ just keeping eyes across, being those watchful guardians over the rather quick tanks. Iceman peering up and over, not catching a glimpse of anyone at the moment. And they have no tier 1s towards that 1 and 2 line, so they're completely oblivious as to what could be happening against them. And what can they hope for here?
Well, they can hope they can catch out Bad News as quickly as possible. But he is sitting in an extremely, like a really well thought out position, because if you look, he's got the rock towards his left, but he's also got the bush in front. So he's both got the cover from these 2 rocks. He's got the camo valley from this one, so he can shoot and not get spotted by Iceman. It's just really well thought out. It's brainy move. It's exactly what we'd expect from DeNova. Perfect little position. He also reverse, get behind this rock, and just push out through the middle. So we'll have to wait and see if that one pays off. If he can really get in there, he's actually spotted out Seek and Leko. That's probably rest in peace sitting up there in the mountains. He's in a good position as well, but once he gets surrounded and really forced to make a move, he's going to be in a dangerous position. He's going to take out down Lepo in the T1, so the advantage into DeNova's hands. But they're playing kind of riskily. It could work, but honestly, scattering all your tanks throughout the map is always a bit of a dangerous move.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they caught the first glimpse of a player back by the opposing team's flag, and that's about it. But they have clearly worked out what DeNova are up to by at least sending, you know, the three main firepower tanks back towards that defending position. QQ, Iceman, and Scarin now keeping eyes across that open terrain just in case they see anyone appearing over that horizon. Iceman's there. Scarin just using the deflator of the hill as well. That T69. Iceman letting a couple of shells off. No real connections yet, but still. They've got their little firing line. They're happy in it. They've spotted out bad news. This could start working in their favor now.
Well, we got Seek getting spotted out by YR now. He's sitting in the bush, just going to go up and down, but he just gets spotted out, so he's got to reverse. Make sure he doesn't get caught out. Obviously, about 10 seconds wait between getting spotted and being unspotted. It's a general rule of thumb. Obviously, it depends on the distance between the tanks, but I would always wait for 10 seconds at least. And that kind of covers all the bases, and you don't have to worry about, you know, popping up again and getting punished immediately for it. And obviously a lot of damage coming out from the Pershing and the T69. So you'd go pretty low, and if you're in the T1, you could just die immediately, even if they're using HE and don't penetrate. So we got a little bit of a push now from playing Ducks, heading back towards the base. They know YR's there, but this could be the start of a trap for the playing Ducks guys. We've got DeNova sitting up on the hill, just waiting for that rotate. We got International, FC Dynamo. FC Dynamo is really going to be providing that firepower, 320 average. He hasn't been spotted out, nor has International, partly because of the bush and partly because of the range between the two.
Yeah, they're certainly going to find out now, though. Wu has just received a shell. YR is the bait to this little trick there. Wu has picked him up easily, but how will they escape? The massive tanks are now standing in the way. Two tanks sitting in perfect position. International finally shows up, but he's got around the back of them. Siege swiftly turns around, but Wu's already down to 300 HP. He's going to be taken low. He's been taken out with a lovely crossfire from Dynamo. Siege is now the next target. It's one shot, and it's International to land it. And DeNova are so in the advantageous position now. It's disgraceful.
Once again, getting completely counter-stratted. Absolute beast moves coming out from DeNova. Two of the tanks sitting on the hill, unspotted, unfazed. The T1 was there in the front just to provide the real information. The two MX-3090s on lower HP than DeNova, pushing around, easy to deal with. International doing a fantastic job finishing that last tank off. Seek it would be. And we've still got pretty much a healthy side from DeNova. Only International's down to 140. He's the only one who's a one-shot. SC Dynamo's also taken a couple, but, you know, Scarin's down to 1077. Iceman, full HP. QQ, full HP as well. They can do a bit of damage, but all that DeNova needs to do right now is just play to their strengths. Really make sure they don't throw anything away. The last thing they want is to lose a tier 8 tank at this point.
Yeah, but look at this. It does seem as though playing Ducks aren't going to be charging in here right now. There's one player behind them. That is Rest in Peace going on the flank. He's completely cut them in parts. Now Iceman pushing in QQ as well, challenging down Phoenix and Bad News. This is an absolute slaughter right now. Phoenix is not missing a shell. Neither is Bad News. And hell, this is just absolutely annihilation. Scarin doing what he can, but Iceman is being engulfed by DeNova. 3 tanks taking him down one by one. He's been circled. He's been pecked to pieces. He's down to 445, make it 104. There's the killing blow, as now just Scarin in any damage-dealing position stands. He's got almost the entirety of the opposition up against him. GGs are being said already. There's no faith in Scarin, and with shots like that coming through, you can tell as to why. As Ayo rolls to his death, slowly but surely, DeNova have stamped their dominance over this game, showing exactly why everyone thinks they're the team to be dethroning the likes of Virtus.pro and Dignitas, picking up a 5-0 victory. Incredible play. Incredible play.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, really starting to come into their stride. I think they'll need a real experienced team to defeat them at this point. Evil Panda Squad obviously did, but that just could be because they threw everything away and just went for something strange. And I was saying that, you know, DeNova just have that research, they have that information, and they're just counter-stratting playing Ducks every single move. And, you know, it could either be that research or that information, or it could just be caused by the whole team on the fly, just making up things as they go along. They're thinking, okay, so if we push here, We put 2 tanks there. We have the T1 in front. They're probably going to come around onto the rotate, going up towards the north of that trench, some point in the map. And if they do send the MX-1390s across, like we do see quite a lot of the time, then we're going to be in a perfect position. We'll have the higher ground. We'll have the element of surprise, which is also very key. That the turrets don't turn that quickly, even on the MX-1390.
And the one thing I want to point out in that game as well, looking back towards steps then, the thing that really caught my eye was what FC Dynamo and International did with that Tier 1. It was the setup they used, that 1390 literally holding back to the last second. Dynamo got spotted. He allowed the 1390s of the opposition to push towards him. He sat back, played it safe, used the cover provided, and then as soon as they're in the sights of International, he just hammered them down. And it's the discipline it took to not get in there too early, to not go, oh God, I need to get involved right now because I can see the opposition. He held his nerve, and that gave them such an advantage. It split the, the 1390s away from the T69s and the Pershings, and it was just so well thought out by DeNova. They had the faith to be able to put those 3 tanks so close to the opposition, yet know that they'd go for that T1 advantage and try and take him down. Really, really enjoyed that. And it's just it's a pleasure to watch DeNova these days. It really is.
Just beautiful. I mean, really, one word. It's just amazing. I just want to see them play, Virtus Pro or Team Dignitas. I really want to see how they perform. Even Spale. Just really see what they can do against those teams. How far they've progressed. If they will just break down like we've seen in past, where they've lost the first map and they've started. Exactly. They can still crumble at this point. I think. Playing Ducks, all they needed to win was that first map, and I think they would have come out with a few more rounds here, maybe even the win.
Yeah, indeed. Things can change. We've been seeing that throughout this entire season, really. That's why it's so close at the moment. We honestly have the best world of tanks. I know we're biased over in this region, but I don't think anyone can brag that we have this caliber with this much of a close season going through. I watch all the other regions. This is just wonderful to watch. But anyway, our thoughts aside, I think we've enjoyed this play, haven't we, really?
Yeah,
it's been pretty darn good.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, so let's bring back in one of your favorites, He's pretty much the sultry sauntress who just kind of appears every now and then with those beautiful eyes, the luscious lips. He's eyeing up the camera before it's even on, but you guys are going to enjoy that in a second. I think he's trying to flirt with our producer, Tim, but we'll see about that. Anyway, let's introduce Stephen, who's been waiting in the wings to bring us back in here. How's it going out there? How are the predictions, actually?
Oh, you're just too good to me. There's one thing I want to pick up on there is you saying the EU region is the best. I was just actually having a discussion with Rukil from the NA server, the NA casting team. Which region's better? And he's pretty sure that the NA teams can stand up to European guys, but looking at DeNova performing like they just performed, it's going to be a really hard fight to keep up with them. We actually got a bet going on now as well.
Okay, bring it on. Bring it on.
Just bring it on, mate. We want to see which region's stronger there. But we all agree on that the Russian teams are...
Yeah, Russia too strong, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see soon next year, beginning of next year, which team
building
will,
up. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Got something going on there. But coming back to the top European teams, the best European teams, or the best teams of the world, and talking about the vote for this match, DeNova taking it with a convincing 5-0, and the community were kind of convinced of DeNova's performance as well. 95% in total on the votes for DeNova, so I think that was pretty straightforward. And looking at the predictions themselves, quite a few went for 5-0, some went for 4-1, but overall, most of them were convinced that DeNova was going to roll over with the Ducks there. Yeah, that's all you can say to that. I do want to say
before I insult Real Kill too much. I really do like what he does on the show over in the NA region. He really does bring a lot to that show. So if I could get a hat like his, I'd be a better caster. But I do appreciate it. We're not being too mean here.
You know what's in the hat? That's all the World Tanks knowledge in there.
Yeah, indeed. It's like his quiff is the kind of.
And did you notice that there's a picture on Facebook where it actually became bigger. So last
Johnny
show,
Bravo style.
last show you had a small one, and now it's actually the full forehead full of hair there. So his knowledge just grew in a couple of days, and that's why he's just whacking out all these stats, all these information. So thank you for that, Ollie.
Well,
we're talking about.
At least I don't have an empty head like you.
Thank you, mate. You got some battle going on here. Let's carry on that one after the camera's off.
We'll leave that when you cast with me next.
Yeah, I heard delightful things about that one. That's why I'm back here and he's over there. Yeah. It's not allowed anymore.
Bit of a distance in between.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, but talking about pictures, we still got the competition going on, and we've got some more great pictures going on there. Many people trying to focus on the Panda thing going on. Talking about Panda as well, Evil Panda Squad even dropped us 2 pictures on Twitter showing that there are Panda eggs. So some eggs painted as pandas.
Thank you very much. Man.
But
It's not a real thing.
Thank you.
It's not a real thing.
But yeah,
It's on the internet, Lauren. It's real.
God
Okay.
damn it, I've been wrong all these years.
But yeah, pictures still can be submitted. We will keep the competition running till tomorrow morning, so you've got some chance after the show, get some footage from today's shows. VODs should be on later tonight. Cut some stuff together, add some nice stuff in there. Maybe make a Halloween picture, what we could possibly copy for first day. And if you're lucky, 5k gold for number 1, 2.5k gold for number 2, and 1.5k gold for the third place. We'll sit together and just pick what's going on, which of the big pictures are the best. And that's it from my side. My pockets are still full. So I've got some codes to give out, and that's it.
Now, on that note, I do want to quickly ask you guys something. I believe there's something happening in Frankfurt, if I'm not mistaken, coming up this weekend. A bit of a wargaming meetup over there to have a little look around a certain museum.
Yeah.
Do we know any details on that? Just quite possibly.
Well, we'll be having a little look towards that, I think. But we can throw over to Stephen to see what he has to say about it.
Yeah, indeed, because it's quite nice to hear from you guys at home. And obviously, I want to keep them up to date on this one because it could be quite cool if these guys at home did want to come down to this as well. So,
as far as I know, well, first of all, it'll be a meetup with the German community in Sinsheim, it's called. It's a kind of a technical museum with some tanks in there, some military stuff, some planes, and we'll be just joining them as well with a camera. The two guys over there, so I'm mainly focused on the lady just to keep up the good footage. Asking you some questions, getting some pictures, getting some videos for you guys. But as far as I know, they're going to have a tour as well. This tour's already fully booked. 150 people already signed up for that, so it's going to be a big meetup. But I guess you still can just just go there, check it out, and just poke the community guys.
Just walk along with the tour.
Yeah,
that's what I always do.
just turn up and like, hi, I'm meant to be here. I'm just going to continue
Just
next to you guys.
So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good fun. We'll be there. We'll take some photos, and hopefully you'll be there as well. If you have any questions, just come along. Just head up to us. We don't bite. We're not shy. We can answer anything you ask us. Especially tank-specific stuff goes over to Ollie. Makeup-specific stuff go over to
Stephen.
To me, and Lauren. Oh, she's just there to.
I don't do much.
Yeah, she's just there. She'll hold the camera.
Yeah, that's
yeah, that's it from that community meetup.
Yeah, indeed. I'd love to see some of you guys down there. If you are obviously around Frankfurt or if you are a big WoT Tanks fan, do check it out. I'm sure we can put a post up on Twitter to keep you guys informed about all the details of where you can find us if you do want to pop down. But obviously, let's have a little think back to obviously the day we've just seen, because I think there's a lot of moments to walk away from this one with, and certainly some that DeNova will be happy with. The fact that they've just stepped up so much in my eyes, that they really are next to WoT Pro and Dignitas now. Everyone, well, you've been saying it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been doubting you for a long time.
Never a good idea.
Stop getting arrogant because I'm being nice. Steven's been mean to you. I'm trying to be nice. It's like, trying to get the balance
Just
right.
the facts, man. It's the DeNova really starting to put the pressure on.
They are.
And, it's about that roster change we were talking about. They've just become stronger and stronger as they added new and better players in there. And they always had that team kind of spirit. And,
They do.
And just the backbones of, Ronnie and YR are always going to be a good one, and Ostap Bender as well. They're always going to be good together. So it's generally been a very good step forwards for DeNova. Obviously, 5-0 against Playing Ducks is pretty fantastic. Speil also having a very good match day, winning against 3-2 against Evil Panda Squad. Not a team they always win against. So certainly very good. Another result we had, Odin Mortis beat Ulanska Fantasia. So they're going on to another win, obviously after that draw against WoT Pro in the previous match day.
Indeed, and speaking of Ulanska Fantasia, if you guys want to check them out and another rather good team, it will be Team Dignitas. On the next Playday, they'll be going head-to-head. And we saw that Fantasia can actually really challenge the top dogs, and a really surprising result of some of the previous match days when they actually drew it out with WoT Pro.
And beat Mousebots.
Crazy result. So certainly something you want to be tuning into. And if that does sound good, make sure you tune in on Matchday 16, which is on the 31st, so not too far away. So you won't be dying for too much tank action if you do want to come over and tune in then. We'll be going live on the same channel at the same time, and we can only hope to see you then.